Anthony Starr is absolutely bewildered that people seem to enjoy the character that he plays, which is Homelander. And Homelander is supposed to be a narcissistic Superman. He didn't expect that people would like him, and yet here we are. Now the problem is that Anthony Starr is part of the Hollywood culture, which is a specific American ideology detached from the real world as well as from any understanding of how humanity works. So it's no wonder that he just doesn't get why people like Homelander. And this is where I come in. I get to explain to him, because I'm pretty sure that he watches this channel. So, this is not the first time that people like a villain. Usually it happens with female characters. A lot of people like Poison Ivy. But a better example would be Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn is also a sociopathic person, which in the comic books have murdered innocent people, is incredibly violent, is not the type of individual that you would want your daughter to end up as. But for some reason, she has a massive fan base to the point where she has her own TV show. And yet it doesn't seem that anyone is puzzled by her popularity. So it seems that, interestingly enough, when a female villain has a lot of supporters, that's fine. But when a male protagonist, that's a villain, has supporters, that is outrageous. And Homelander is not the only one. I mean, we can think about Voss from Far Cry. He has a interesting and significant fan base. Gus from Breaking Bad, also a very popular villain. But notice that despite the fact that people enjoy these characters, they do not try to emulate them. Most people I know don't want to be like Voss from Far Cry. So why are people attracted to them? Well, there's several reasons. First and foremost is the complex characterization. These are not unidimensional villains, they are complex characters. In the case of Voss as well as Homelander, they seem to have had a troubled childhood. They seem to have been victims of society. Here we go. And because of that, many people find some sympathy for them. And they can use it to justify the way they're behaving. They're like, well, had the situation been better, had they been treated better by society when they were kids, none of this would have happened. The second thing is the charisma that these actors manage to portray the characters. This is true for Gus Fring, this is true for Voss, and it's also true for the character of Homelander. They are very charismatic individuals. And if we look at the female characters that are villains, like Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn, they are also very beautiful and attractive women. And it's these traits that create attraction. It's these traits that make the viewer be willing to forgive everything else that the character does and is enticed by them. And I think, it's a huge success for the actors that play them. But the reality is that human beings, and this is what the Hollywood ideology fails to understand about humanity. When human beings form relationships, or when we form friendships, very rarely it is due to the aspect of the character, like is it a good guy or a bad guy. Usually we are attracted to beauty and we are attracted to charisma. So if an individual, no matter how evil they are, manages to have these traits, it can easily create a following. I mean, this is why throughout history, some of what we consider now to be the worst people on earth managed to have a following. Like if we are to pick Hitler, or if we are to pick Stalin, or Mao Zedong, or any other dictator, despite the fact that, well, they killed a lot of people, they were charismatic, and this is why they had a following. And I believe that this is the main point. Now, when it comes to politics, a lot of people are suggesting, well, it's because Homelander is a right-winger and right-wingers identify with him. The politics in The Boys is very complex. On one hand, in the first seasons, it seems that the show writers do understand how the world works. Vought Corporation, which is a very wealthy entity within that world, is not necessarily controlling the government, but using its finances in order to influence the politics in the United States. And while they are promoting LGBT issues and they are sponsoring wokeness, we also noticed that some of their superheroes, like the one from season 1 that had guns, I forgot his name, but like he was an incredible right-wing individual. And he was promoting the Second Amendment, and he was having a very right-wing base, and he was also sponsored by VOT. And there was that religious individual, that even televangelist, and he was also sponsored by VOT. So, in the first seasons, it seems that the boys understand how politics works. That VOT Corporation is playing both sides. Like, it's using its influence and wealth in order to cater to the left-wing crowd, to cater to the right-wing crowd, and by doing so, is controlling the entire culture of the nation. However, as the seasons move on, we notice that the writers become more and more detached, and for some reason they decide that Homelander's fans happen to be right-wing, while Starlight fans happen to be left-wing. For no reason whatsoever. I mean, if anyone can tell me what exactly Homelander does, which make him a right-winger, I would be willing to change my mind, but from his actions, from his ideology, from the things that he espouses, I just don't see it. Like, why exactly would he attract a right-wing base? Maybe because, like, he went to Middle East and refused to apologize after killing an innocent person. And it's like, okay, but, you know, that happened under Obama as well. I mean, left-wing crowd are pro-war now, you know, like, the war in Ukraine is supported by the Democrats. So, I genuinely, like, do not see the show trying to portray Homelander as a conservative individual. It's just shoehorned in. It's just like implied. I guess like because he's waving American flags and such. Like that's what makes him right wing. So if you're writing this type of I guess like political interpretations where you're just dictating to the viewer, oh okay, but this is a right wing group, this is a left wing group, without actually showing it, yeah, the viewer is going to be disconnected. I personally don't see any right-wingers identifying with Homelander because he is right-wing. Just as I don't see any left-wing people identifying with Starlight because she is left-wing. We as the viewers know a lot more about these characters. And by the way, you know, Starlight, also a villain. I mean, she kills a person and then runs away. There is an episode in one season where she kills an innocent person for simply inconveniencing her. Right? So she's not a superhero, so I don't know why people like her. You know, like, this would be an even bigger question. Why do people like Starlight? You know, she committed murder, didn't turn herself in, and like, what? Like, is everything else making it okay? Why? Because she's powerful and strong and she's a superhero, so she's above everyone else? Right? What if that was your father or a relative that she killed? So that's a more interesting question. What again, leads me back to what I said in the beginning. Females who are villains, like Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn, Starlight, it's okay if you like them. Like, it's perfectly fine. No one is going to complain. The moment you like a male villain, that's too much. That's over the pale. Hollywood doesn't understand how that happened. But let me know what you guys think, and I will see you in the comment section. Take care.